What I want to cover today with you guys is kind of what our defensive philosophy is, what's worked for us the past 3 years, what we do a little bit as far as position drills, hope you can get something out of that, and kind of what we do as a weekly prep. Starting from Saturday, once the previous week gets done, all the way until Friday night for that game day that evening. So a little bit of what we do. We are 50 front. Our main thought is our goal is to stop the run. Just like Xavier coach had said, we want to make teams as one-dimensional as we can by stopping the run and controlling the line of scrimmage. We've been pretty fortunate the past 3 years to have some good ass kickers up front. Usually that's the one position group where we try to eliminate as much of two-way players as possible. I know Coach Berg and I would kind of sit down, okay, who's your starting five? Who's my starting five going to be in the front five, and where can we rest those guys the most? We're not huge. What was our enrollment last year, guys? 400?
406.
406. We had how many varsity players?
71.
Varsity? Yeah, varsity.
40.
40. So we had a lot of guys playing both ways. So usually those front five is where we try to get some rest because they're banging heads every single time. And the staples that we've always put together and get a mindset with them from day one is we want our defense to be fast, mentally and physically, extremely physical, and insanely disciplined. And I'll kind of touch on that as how we get those up throughout the season. Our result has kind of been there the past 3 years. We've had some pretty good success. Now, not gonna lie, we've had some damn good football players. All right. 2014, we were in Gun St. Croix still at that point, I believe. Weren't we? We with you guys still? Lost in level 3, gave up 14 points per game. Lost in level 3 to eventual state champs in Somerset. 2014 in third place. 2015, probably, in my mind, the best defense we had. Ended up first year in the middle border. Both losses were the same team. Lost to Osceola in level 3. Essentially, we didn't convert basically on a Hail Mary the last play of the game, which could have probably sent in overtime. Probably could use Rogers with this that day. And then last year, we had to replace a lot. Basically, to win our last regular season game to even make the playoffs. Struggled with things here and there. And we were able to fight out a playoff run. We got fortunate enough to finish down at the camp. But for us, the 16.5 gave up too many points in the second half in a lot of games. Is what it came down to for us. And actually, we've been going back at film already trying to figure out where our mistakes were with what we had. So go ahead, Dave. I hate to say it, I'm biased. Defense wins titles and controlling the ball for damn near over the entire game. If you look at the 7 teams that won titles last year, you break it down, they combined for 14.25 points per game in the postseason. Okay? If they can't score, your odds are pretty good you're going to win. All right? And our goal is 2 touchdowns. 13 points is the goal we set each week. They don't get more than 13. Okay, if they do score twice, we better block one of the PATs and not let them convert if they're going for 2. Okay? We preach it all the time. The second thing we preach constantly to them is you got to create turnovers. If we can create turnovers, that's another positive thing for us. Not only turnovers, interceptions, fumbles, punt blocks, 3 and outs. We consider a 3 and out a turnover because we're getting the ball, or not 3 and out. 3 and out, or even forcing them 4th down. We want to get that ball back. If they don't have the ball, I know Berg and our offense is going to control it with our option game. We're going to run the clock down. We're going to wear things down. We're going to be okay. All right. So our main philosophy, like I said, we're fast, we're physical, we're disciplined. Talking a little bit, we are a 50 front. I should have mentioned this earlier. We are a strictly man-to-man team. Our defensive backs are most of our basketball players. We are man-to-man all over the field. I tell them if your kid goes to the bathroom, you're going to wash his hands with him when he's done. All right, you are everywhere he goes, the entire game. We tried to dabble with some zone my first year. Just turned into trying to mix the zone and man-to-man concepts for our kids. It was too tough. considering we don't get a bunch of time with them because they do play both sides of the ball. And we'll talk about how we do our man-to-man stuff. All right, fast. I look at it two ways. I want my players to be physically fast, and damn it, they gotta be mentally fast. If they don't know where to go, I don't care if you can run a 4.540, you're running the wrong direction. Okay, if you don't know where your read is and where you're supposed to go. All right? We do pursuit drills a couple different ways. The good old-fashioned rabbit. All right? We try to take advantage of our time as much as possible. So I'll draw, we'll have simple play cards. So we'll have the 5 cans, the 5 linemen, and I'll have a group of 6 guys come out. They'll line up in a formation. Our defense has to line up appropriately, get in the right spot, snap it, hit the rabbit, go run them down. Okay? So we're getting formation adjustments at the same time. Assignment and alignment. Are you in the right spot? If you're not in the right spot to snap, you might as well not even play that snap. Okay? We do 10 tackles to the uprights. I've never seen kids fight so hard to tackle a bag. We'll set 10 bags up down the sideline, tackle all 10 bags. If you don't get a bag, you got to go around and touch the uprights. Okay? I've never seen 2 D tackles, Dumb and Dumber pretty much, Schmidt and Madison, because they know they're fighting for that 10th bag. Okay? Because if they don't get to that 10th bag, they know they ain't going to beat the DBs to the first 9. Never seen them fight so hard to get to that 10, because they know they got to go an extra 40 yards to go to the uprights. We do double whistle during Team D. First whistle stops the play. You better be within the ball at the second whistle. All right? We're taking advantage of our team defense as much as we can. Limited time. Obviously, we only so much time the WA allows us. We're going to take advantage of that time, get as much work out of them, get them running. A lot of times, if they're working their ass off in that team stuff and that pursuit stuff, we don't have to do conditioning at the end of practice, or not as long, because we're getting our conditioning in during our team. Mentally fast. Like I talked about, our kids, they gotta know where to go. All right? We watch more film than we probably should ever need to. Okay? Our guys, we watch it with them. I usually get stuff going in the mornings. We watch practice. I want them to know exactly what they're going to see on Friday night, and I want them to see it hundreds of times before they see it live in front of them. Again, taking advantage of time, we run 2 scout teams usually. We take everyone possible. I know Berg usually has to run quarterback sometimes in the second scout team, or we'll have injured reserve guys run linemen on the second scout team. Our first scout team, in the playoff runs, Coach DeSalvo even takes them during team Indy time, and he practices their plays. Okay, so they've practiced the spread read option. They've practiced the jet sweep because we don't run that in our offense, but our scout team practices it. So when we come to team offense or team defense, they know what they're doing. I'm not trying to sit back here and go, what the hell? Why aren't you blocking this guy? Why aren't you running that? Where's our timing? They're already ready to go. A couple of years ago, we played Durand. Anyone know anything about Durand? You guys, single wing, right? It's crazy to try to replicate. We actually had our scout team watching film during the week on them. Okay, so they could learn what they were doing. We actually had a bet with our scout team that if we got to a running clock, we'd let them go out and run a couple plays on a Friday night. We didn't quite get there. We run a formation group as well. So after the play group leaves, formation group comes out right away, and we're just aligned formations. Okay? Because that second group, yeah, they could run a play, but we're talking 4th and 5th string kids by then. Am I really benefiting having my first string guys run a play against kids that can barely line up in the right spot? Absolutely not. But can I get a benefit out of them lining up and knowing where to get to? Absolutely. Hate to say it, some of those kids haven't even played football. I tell them to go line up as a tight end. I see like 7-yard splits and the kid's standing up like this. I'll number them so they know where to go, and I'll even label on the sheet, you should be 3 yards from the end man on the line of scrimmage. Okay, so they know exactly where to go, and I put that time in on my own. It makes us much faster and more efficient in practice. You don't have the kid that usually probably has an IEP that doesn't know anything what's going on, but he looks at that sheet, he goes, I'm number 2, I am in the backfield 1 by 1. He knows exactly where to go. he's my formation group. Okay, we take advantage of it.